So it's pretty clear that everybody is investing in something or the other. But let's go deeper into this. So how many of you are actually investing in mutual funds? Great. Equities. How many of you have FDs? Okay, so FD is obviously a different thing. Okay, and how many of you are trading in crypto and NFTs? Great. So this is obviously crypto NFTs. This is one thing which is there now, and I particularly don't call it as an investment, rather a trading thing, right? Yeah. So obviously, wealth tech, fintech is obviously a very big term wherein you have wallets, UPI payments, insurance. A lot of things are there. Nobody needs an introduction to that, and also with wealth tech, we all know what exactly is it. But it was never always wealth tech. It was wealth management, and then the entire tech thing came in. And with the digitization, even this industry, which was actually lagging behind for a lot of years, got developed and in the best way possible. So let's understand what are the components or what are the key players which are there. Traditional offline agents and distributors, your advisors who help you with your wealth management, your brokerage firms. Many of you have been using the top one in India. Let's no naming there. You have asset management companies who take the pool of investments, put it into equity and debt markets, and they are the ones who are running the mutual funds, and the digital aggregators like ET Money and a lot of other apps which all of us use. Okay, and if we look at how the industry has been, that prior to pandemic, what all of the key players, the digital players in the market, what we were trying to do was explain to the user, to the end consumer, why is it important to invest. Because what happened was, people understand why is it important to buy an iPhone, why is it important to have a car, why do you need gold, but why do you need digital assets or investment of your own? That is something which nobody understood. But people understood it the difficult way with pandemic. There were a lot of job cuts, job losses, salary cuts. People understood that it is very important that you need to have an investment of your own so that your money can grow ultimately. How it helped the entire wealth tech space is that if you see the kind of funding which has been there, right? A lot of companies have become unicorns. We can see that Robinhood in US actually raised a $3.1 billion funding during this whole time. What are the key components, or how do we see this industry actually growing forward? We have a robo advisory and robo retirement, the entire AI and ML thing coming into wealth tech space. You have wealth as a service which has been accepted by everybody. Nobody wants to go to the traditional brokers or agents and get their investments done, but everybody wants to use it via their own phone, right? And it is there on your phone that you can make an investment. You can open up a demat account, investment account, get a KYC done. Everything is there on phone. And digital brokerage. So since we have a very young crowd here, I am not sure how many of you would have experienced that. Back then, what used to happen, that if you want to start an SIP, you would call up somebody in the relative की कोई agent है या फिर कोई है आपके पास में who can actually open an investment account. They would come to you, they would tell you which fund is right. You would blindly trust them. You will open up an investment account, get the entire KYC done, and you will start investing. They would say, sell off this fund, sell off this stock. You would do that because that's how the industry has been. It was more of a transaction driven business wherein the brokers, agents, all of them were earning their commissions, whereas the consumers, the end consumers, were missing out on their returns. And then came the era where regular mutual funds to direct mutual funds back in 2013-14. Now, what exactly was the transformation, and how are the two things different? So there's a 1% commission which is there on a regular mutual fund, which is given to your broker. Now, if you look at 1% as a commission, it's a very small number. But if you actually see over the period of your entire investment, that becomes an amount of 22 lakh rupees. And 22 lakh rupees of today, it's not a small number, right? So that is where the need was for all the players to get into the market to make the customer understand that it's really important to be aware, to take things in your control. Okay, understanding what ET Money is doing in this entire space. So we are India's largest non-brokerage direct mutual fund app. We have more than 11 million users. We are handling 23,000 plus crores assets under our management. We have a SIP book of 600 plus crores, monthly SIP book. And how did we achieve here with trying to do it for the last 7 years? Was that we always had this philosophy that it has to be a customer first approach. It is very important for the customer to really get things in their hands to understand what is right and what is wrong with their investments. We're the first ones to get smart deposit. So smart deposit is one term which which is widely accepted now. What exactly is it? It's getting your money, handling your money like a savings account, but with FD like returns. So with savings account, you usually get what, 3-4% of returns. With FD, you get 5 to 7%. Right now, it's maximum at 7%. With smart deposit, you could actually do that. And when you try to get money, when you redeem your money from mutual funds, what you see is that it takes 3 to 4 days of time for the redemption from the day you redeemed to the time it has come to your bank account. Whereas smart deposit is something in which you have instant redemptions any day of the week. We the first ones to bring it, and we co-created with Reliance Mutual Funds back then. Next thing which was actually first in the industry was a complete video KYC. So earlier, what used to happen, you need to have an so the typical process is to, if you want to open an investment account, you need to do a KYC. For that, you need to give your PAN details, bank details, signature, all of this. So earlier, this was all a physical process, because that's the way people used to verify it. We co-worked with the regulators and brought in a video KYC on our platform. So today, obviously that is one more thing which is widely accepted, and that is the new normal now. We have brought in a lot of innovations in this industry. For example, portfolio health check. Since all of you have been investing and not with ET Money, right? Since we have 1 or 2 users, for the others who are not investing, what you can do is, the kind of investments that you have over the period, you can actually get a proper report card for your mutual fund investments on ET Money. We send out this report card in real time. You can actually see of how your investments are performing, what is your overlapping, what are the kind of funds that you have. Are these regular funds, direct funds? How much can you save converting these regular to direct funds, right? And what is the time horizon for this kind of a portfolio that you've built for yourself? We have other things that we have got is an investor personality. So nobody has the same fingerprint, right? So similarly, it is really important to understand that nobody has a similar investing behavior or the way they would react to their investments. I can have a risk score of, let's say, 80. I can take higher risk in life. Yash can take a lesser risk, or let's say Suresh, he does not want to take any risk in his life. So obviously, the three of us will not be investing in the same fund. But that is what happens. Because if I tell that this is a good fund which is performing for me, probably a lot of other people would also want to invest in that fund looking at the returns. But that's not how it works. So we got investor personality, wherein there are multiple things on which we create a investing persona for you and recommend the kind of investments you should have. We got a fund report card, and recently in February 2022, we launched Genius, So Genius, again, is a revolutionary product that we have. It's an offering from us. It's the idea is that you can actually invest basis the kind of goal and horizon you have. And later on, I'm going to cover this is one of the big challenges which are there. We also educated the customer with a lot of content and video, a lot of blogs and videos. We have a very healthy YouTube channel with more than 300,000 subscribers. Okay, so as we move forward, let's understand what are the challenges which are there in this industry. Number one is a longer sales cycle. Somebody who plans to invest today, who thinks of starting an investment, is actually going to take 3 to 6 months to make the investment actually. Somebody who's downloaded our app is going to explore a lot of options inside the app, plus on the web, and then make a decision of what exactly do we, or where exactly should I make an investment. And in all of that, a lot of analysis and paralysis happen. People get confused. There is a fear of losses. So I'll give you an example of myself. If I talk to my father and I tell him that I'm investing in equities, he would say that if you want to invest, go for FDs. Safe hai, pura return milega, fixed return milega. But we all know how the market has been and the kind of returns. Obviously, FD is not even beating your inflation. So obviously, there's no point parking all your money in such an investment. And somebody who actually books losses in their career, in their entire investing time, it is very difficult for that person to come back and make an investment. Right? They start looking at other options. Then there is it is very important to have disciplined investing in life. Now, how it works is that you start an SIP. Let's say you today you decide that you want to spend 20-25% of your salary as an investment. You start an SIP for that. Now you'll have to continue doing that for your entire life till the time you are earning actually. Why? Because that is where the power of compounding comes in. And usually what happens is, as if there is a disturbance in the market, like pandemic, what happens is that people would skip their SIPs, stop their SIPs. If Diwali is coming in, they would think of buying hundreds of things, and then they stop that SIP or skip that SIP and put that money in spending on Amazon. Right? So that is again one very big challenge, that you need to have a very disciplined investing style. There are untimely withdrawals. And so untimely withdrawals, how it happens is that you have started investing, but there is no particular goal that you have, a goal or a time for which you're investing. So what you would do is, let's say that tomorrow, if you want to buy a car, what you would do is, from your portfolio, you'll redeem that much money. But the money that you have been saving, was it only for buying a car? No, that's something which people don't understand and get confused with. Then they are unable to plan for goal and horizon. As I said, that what happens is that with pandemic, people understood that it is really important to have a saving, to have an investment in life. But why? What are you saving it for, or how? Why is it that you are investing? Are you investing for your retirement, for your first 1 crore, for a dream SUV, for buying a house, or whatever? If you ask a question to the customer, nobody is actually clear on that. And investing without having a goal and horizon in mind is actually not the right investment. Then they're confused about choosing the first fund. As I said, that people do a lot of research. They get into an analysis mode, looking at returns, a lot of things that they look at, and ultimately they get confused that where is the starting point for my investment. There's no instant gratification. So all of us use Netflix, right? What happens with Netflix? As soon as you pay their subscription fee, you are able to view your favorite shows, your movies, right? Whenever you buy a new phone or a new car, there's a sense of accomplishment that you have it. When you start investing, there's nothing of it. all you see is a message that this much money has been debited from your account, right? So there's no instant gratification, but when you give it time and when you see that your money is actually growing over the period, when you actually see the amount you had invested and the kind of returns that you have, that is where the gratification comes in, but it's a very long cycle. It actually takes years. Then, because of all these challenges, what happens is that ultimately the entire Indian retail investor is putting their money in poor allocation across assets. What happens is a lot of to quote, around 15% of the entire investment lies into savings accounts, because people think that that is probably the right way. Instead of losing money, I'll just not earn anything on it. Now, how do you solve these problems? And how are we solving these problems? Number one, the philosophy that we have is having a very customer-centric approach. If you actually want to win the longer battle, you need to have a focus on your customer. And that is what you need to do. At the time when the entire pandemic had hit and vaccine had come in, what we saw was that there was a boom in the entire health sector, right? And a lot of sectoral funds started picking up. People started buying healthcare sector funds, right? Similarly, when the entire, it's actually even right now going on that there's a semiconductor shortage, because of which there's a lot of demand and shortage of supply in the entire automobile sector. Because of which, what is happening, the entire automobile sector is also booming up. But this is something which is not going to sustain in the long run. If somebody who wants to diversify their portfolio, that is fine. But somebody who's starting with an investment, it's actually not the right thing. So we get into this mode that never missell, always have the right approach to the customer, understand if it's a first investment that they're making, they've been already making investments, and accordingly have the communications, educate with content, give the power to the customer to make the right decisions in life. Educate about risk management. So at the time of pandemic, back in Feb 2020, Sensex was at its peak, close to 41,000. In just a matter of a month, the entire market collapsed by 30%. And people who had been investing for the last 5-6 years, what they saw was their portfolios getting into reds. If they had invested 100 rupees, they actually saw that only 105 rupees are there. For few, they even saw that 70 rupees are left. They started withdrawing their money in panic. And that is really important. And in an ideal case, it is really important that you stay invested at that point in time. What we also saw was that a lot of redemptions were happening. We started educating our customers that it is really important. These are all paper losses. The market is not going to be the same. It is important that you stay invested. And we did this by a lot of content creation. We interviewed a lot of AMC folks. We spoke to a lot of investors who are really disciplined in their investing. And we saw major uptick. We saw that the redemptions have actually gone down a lot. So people actually stayed, and those who stayed in the market actually thanked us later, because from from March 20 till Jan 2022, the market has actually gone up by 100%. Right? So it is very important that you keep the customer prepared about the risks which are there, and contextualize at that point in time that what is the right thing to do. Similarly, we launched FD during this pandemic, because a lot of customers started coming in and asking for a fixed return investment. And we all know that FD is one product which gives you fixed returns. So that is when we quickly turned around. Our product team got FD into the picture in the ecosystem, and then we introduced ET Money Genius. Why did we launch it? Because over the last 2 periods, people had started becoming a shopper of products, investing blindly here and there. I have X money extra. If you would say, I would invest there, right? But that is obviously not the right way. So there has to be a systematic way to make an investment in life, and that is what is enabling Genius for the users. Let's understand what is the kind of customer life cycle which is there, or how do you how do you target it. Number one is onboarding. You attract new users through external platforms. Acquisition happens. That is one thing which is there, but then comes the entire process of CRM into the function. Once you have acquired the user, you need to ensure that there is a proper onboarding of that customer. You are providing information about your product, right? You are engaging with them. You are actually building a relationship, because as all the apps today has a lot of data of the customers, and that's a reality that we all understand. The whole beauty lies in how do you use that, right? So with better personalized engagements, better contextualized engagements, you can actually win the battle. And then obviously retaining, because the cost of acquiring a new user is actually way higher than getting somebody to cross sell. If we look at the entire customer life cycle, obviously understand your customer, ask questions. If you blindly start targeting them with ABC XYZ, you'll not be able to win the game, because ultimately what will happen is that you will see a lot of uninstalls happening. Your engagement rates will start going down. So understand it, understand the customer, create a customer persona, leverage the channels where the customers are. It is not necessary that you will see that every customer is there on every channel. There are set of customers who just open an email. There are set of customers who are continuously engaging with your app. You need to have a very linear approach. You need to create an approach for yourselves wherein you are targeting all of the users on on the channels that they are. Contextualize by sending the right message at the right time. As I've always said, if you see your funnels, understand why exactly there is a drop. Is it so? Since we are in a market, we are in an environment which is very dynamic. It's externally handled. So we need to understand that what exactly is driving the numbers in these funnels. If you see suddenly your bottom funnel has started picking up, conversion numbers have picked up. Understand why is it picking up, right? And so that you can double down on that later. Hmm. So it is, yeah, it's absolutely right that all these factors really impact the market, plus the kind of numbers that we see on our app, and it is really important to keep a track of that. That's why in this domain, it is not just that you need to understand your product, you need to understand the entire domain, and then the kind of marketing happens there. And continuing to it, we send personalized, very hyper personalized and relevant messages. So if we'll take some campaigns, for example, on New Year, we don't just wish our customers. It's not a very normal Happy New Year email that we do. 99% of the brands do that. But what we do is a very hyper personalized communication wherein we talk about the kind of year that has been for their investments. How are they spending in the last 1 year, quarter on quarter? What was the spending that they had? What were the top places where they spent? When it comes to investments, we talk about how your investing behavior has been. Have you actually been saving some tax with ELSS or not? So a lot of components. And for the coders out here, you will understand that these are close to 50 personalized things in this email, and the entire email becomes a 3000 lines code. And handling personalization at this level becomes a challenge of its own, because the entire email is very personalized for every user. No user gets the same email. And what's the upside that we see that the engagement rates which are there are actually 2x in terms of open rates to conversions. So obviously, at the end of the day, bottom funnel really matters, but there are other things which have to be looked at in terms of engagement, stickiness, how's your uninstall rate. All of these are there. Okay, so that marks the end of it. Any questions? Okay.
Just repeat the question, maybe.
Sure.
So basically, what I want to know is what factors does ET Money take into consideration, or in general as well, to find the investor persona, different kinds of investor personas, and yeah, and accordingly do targeted emailing or marketing or whatever it may be.
Okay. So what we do is that there are a lot of things on which an investing persona gets built up. It is your risk profile. How good are you with financial terms? Okay. So there are multiple things which are there. If you experience the product, it's a free product that we have, Investor Personality. Once you experience it, it will give you a personality. It will give you a persona for yourself. What kind of an investor are you? Are you a seeker? Are you actually an adventurer who just wants who can actually take adventures with their investments, or you do a proper research and then make an investment?
Follow-up question. So this is in-app or something that you have built in the product. Is
Yeah.
there anything that you're doing outside of the product to collect information to build a more, let's say, affinity to what other kind of products, and accordingly, what kind of decisions do they make? Just wanting to know that.
Okay. So the idea with such products is that it is there inside the app. Going outside the app and collecting the data would be some, obviously, since you are also in this space, you understand the kind of regulatory compliance issues which are there. So going out and doing it is not something which we do. We are more focused towards getting getting the data what the user is sharing with us.
Thank you.
So ET Money actually use like your transactions have been saved and you can use as a saving part of it, right? Like you can come to know that my monthly like whatever expenses I have made because of they can read my messages and on that side.
So we have a spends tracking.
Spencer,
Yeah, that's actually a part of the app.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So does that help you to personalize the whole messaging part and the email part and everything? Do you guys use it out in that particular way? Just
Okay, so when it comes to personalization, we do respect customers' privacy, right? It is not something which you take everything and then build up on it just in order to sell your product. So the idea is that whatever informations you have, how can you sweetly personalize it? That's the idea. And if you want to experience what we do is that the entire app that we have gets personalized. The entire home screen gets personalized basis the kind of interaction that you have with the app. And we are actually even working with WebEngage on having that complete in-app personalization.
You were mentioning about this roundup email that you do.
Yeah.
I mean, how much you've spent across the year and everything. You use WebEngage for that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's something nice. I mean, I have been using WebEngage. It never occurred to me that I could do something of that sort, because the kind of personalization that would go on each step, pulling data from each attribute and then populating the email, that'll be a huge thing to do.
Yeah, obviously it's not a normal personalization that you do, and it takes a lot of man hours to actually build that entire communication plus getting that entire thing personalized. And QA is another big challenge that is there, right? Because you never want to see somebody else's spends. So the entire data sanity, it is actually a very long process, and but obviously it is worth the results that we get. And this is one of the campaigns. We do a lot of campaigns like this.
Yeah, I first saw this on Spotify. They used to do that, and people used to share whatever they have heard across the year. It was a very viral thing to do. Obviously, you can't do that with your data, but
Yeah, exactly. Nobody wants to share. And so it is not just Spotify or ET Money. Recently, even Swiggy did the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a quick
Yeah.
appreciation for you. I've been very inspired with ET Money's all-rounder emailer. I remember I had a word with Asra about it. Like, can we do it for Vigo as well? And we started replicating it for the same thing. So
Okay.
I'm pretty impressed about how you do it. Not a pro user of ET Money, but
Mhm.
definitely a pro, inspired from ET Money. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any more questions, guys?
Yeah, we have a question.
If you guys want to know a lot about personalization with WebEngage, do contact us.
So, frankly speaking, I have not used ET Money earlier. So, just wanted to ask, how do you differentiate yourself from the market? So, how do you differentiate yourself from the large players in the market, such as ICICI Direct, HDFC, likes of that, who have started using personalizations as feature to get new customers and even to retain their existing customers?
So personalization is something which is there for engagement, your conversions and everything. It's there in the entire customer life cycle which happens. How do we differentiate ourselves is the kind of product that we have built, the kind of communication that we do. And same is seen with the kind of interactions that we get. If you see our blogs, if you see our videos, there's a lot of interaction which happens. Plus the entire product that is there, the kind of the ease to use which is there, right? You get everything transparent. Obviously everybody does that, but the way we do it is something which the customers are really loving us for.